I tend to talk long, but I won't do that tonight. But as Tanya said, my name is Dilsa Capdeville. Hi. And I've been a social worker therapist here for, this is my 60th year.
Wow.
I started in 1965 when I was in the 11th grade at St. Peter and Paul doing volunteer work. And when I started, the entire Department of Social Welfare and Human Services was in the bottom of the legislature. It's been a life. This is why I feel I came into the world. I really have to be honest with this. I really feel so. I'm the mother of 3 children. I also like to be frank, so I have an ex-husband number 1 and an ex-husband number 2. But I raised my children primarily by myself. But I also, over the years, worked for the government, and then I left the government, and I was working, before I left, I was working with a lot of women who were trying to get out of marriages, were being abused and neglected, children were being molested. We had no place to put them. But at least to give them a help, I went to attorney Edith Vaughn, who is a fantastic attorney here, and asked her to please represent them for free, which she did. And at the time, this is like 45 years ago. At the time, I would take them home because I went back to live with my parents, and I would have them sleep in my car. I had blankets and food and all that. They would come into my parents' house for dinner to help them with the kids' homework. And until my parents decided to help their tenant to get another apartment, and they paid 2 months of the rent, and also that was our first safe house upstairs with my parents. That's 45 years ago. I also, as Tanya said, about maybe 30 odd years ago, I was still working in the department, and I was having a lot of children who needed to be removed from their homes, and I needed them to be in a safe place. I would stay with them in the hospital until one of the foster parents and I sat down and got this plan, and I said, I'm gonna do a proposal to Commissioner June Malloy, we're gonna get the money. And she lived in Old Tutu, so we started Nana Baby Home in her house. Her name was Louise Alley, God bless her. She and I did a lot of work here with protecting children. She has passed on. But out of helping women, Mrs. Vaughn said, Dilsa, what do you want to do? I said, I want to have a women's shelter, and I want to have a women's resource center. And I went up and begged the governor at the time, Governor Farrelly, and I said, we need this, and we need it now. I want you to know this is Domestic Violence Month. Women's Resource Center is now Family Resource Center. There are hardworking people there who need help, they need assistance. But I want you to know domestic violence is very real in our community. Yes. More real than the papers are saying, more real than people are realizing. Just a month ago, there was this woman who, her boyfriend for a year or more had been torturing her, tying her up, burning her and everything. Family Resource Center helped her. They got her a safe house. For some reason, he got very angry. He went to her job and killed her. This happened. Did any of you know about that?
Mm-hmm. This was what. This was like about a year. This was about a year ago, a month ago.
Galleon House.
A month, yes.
Okay.
He worked at Galleon House, and he killed her. I don't know if they were married or not.
Yes, they were married.
Okay. But it was very unfortunate. She has 2 adult children that are, I can't tell you the state they're in. But we also have a lot of children in our community being molested and being abused. And it irritates me because one of the things when I came back in 1974 with my master's, I was asked by the commissioner to develop a child abuse program. We had nothing. We had nothing we didn't have a children's code with an attorney and a judge. I developed that. We did the child abuse statute. We have a very good law. The problem is enforcement from everybody's fault. Human Services, and I worked there for many years. The police finally, I think, have good, there's a good police chief that I talked to, and she's trying to get that together. When your child comes home and tell you somebody do something to them, even if they're in the house, even if they're in the bed with you, believe them. We had another case, I'm sure you all know about this. 15 years this man worked at Charlotte Armory. He had been molesting little boys. Only last year he went to jail, and almost everybody knew about it. Those children who he started out with, who were little, they were in Little League. His mother ran Little League. He was a volunteer. A lot of those children who got molested 5, 6, and 7 are now on St. Thomas as pedophiles because they're in their 20s and 30s, and they are so angry they're doing to others what was done to them.
I should.
Your girl children are also not safe. For the last, before I left the government and even after, for about 30 years, I was working with Haida undercover, because all through Tutu and other areas out here, people were using their houses as sex places that they were bringing young girls. They were drugging them, taking them there, having sex with them. They were taping them. It was all over the island. Maybe not all over, because some of the looks on your face, it's like, nothing I'm saying coming out of the Inquirer or whatever. My comeuppance came years ago when I started to go to the mall to see dead children and dead women. So I am very determined. A lot of the kids I work with would say, this Capdeville will go into hell and fight the devil for us. And I do, and I will, and I have. Listen to your children. Ask your question at your children, where you're going, when you're coming home, who you're going with. But you need to keep an eye on your children. And what's happening in the States now, since we have I'm going to be coming. A lot of immigrant children, a lot of Hispanic children, a lot of Afro-American children are disappearing.
That is so true. Human trafficking is real. And it's happening.
Not only is it real, but it has increased 20,000, 100% since this individual is now. I'm not afraid. We're living in a new world. We have to protect ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. We have to prepare our islands. And if our government and our powers that be ain't doing it, everybody in here has power that they can stand in and make a difference. But it is something that is always, I still have some of my young children I dealt with at kids' school who call me because now they have children of their own, and they're either in a divorce or they're battered women, the children are being abused. So the saga continues. I'd like to reiterate, protect your children, keep them safe, let them know they are safe, that they can turn to you. And most importantly, that something will be done. Something will be done. I've been asked every day, when you're going to start Kids Scope again, because that's the only thing that seems to work here. And I agree with that. So I want to now switch over to cancer. This is October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every month of the year, there are at least 3, I'm wearing pink today, but there are at least 3 or 4 cancers, and I think it's not only breast cancer, but it might be ovarian cancer. But needless to say, it is very real here. It is very rampant. And a lot of my ladies that I worked with I would go with them here to the cancer treatment center when they were having chemo. Many of them I worked with, many of them I helped with their funeral booklets. I was at their bedside when they passed. In 2016, I had a dream with my mother, and I know you're supposed to investigate your breast, and there's a breast thing you're supposed to do. I have to tell you, I never did it. But I had a dream with her, and she said, go get, my birthday's in October, I get my mammograms in October. She said, go on, don't wait till October, this was September 15. I went, they said, well, something's wrong with the machine. I'm like, there ain't a damn thing wrong. It's me. Anyway, I found out I had breast cancer. My doctor here wanted to take me into surgery, remove both my breasts on October 24th. I said, that's not happening, that's my birthday, I am out of here. I went to Atlanta with the help of friends who worked in the VI cancer support groups. I ended up at Cancer Treatment Center of America. By the time they finished prodding me, they said I had four cancers at the same time. 2 breast cancer in my lymph nodes, and a tumor in my stomach. Wow. And I was saying, this really shouldn't be happening to me because I've been helping the women. So how come I got this? But I was very naive, I was very frightened, but I found my voice. Well, I always had a voice, I have to tell you that. I speak my truth, but I was able to be very vocal. I was able to investigate things. I picked my own team there. I'm very much into holistic healing modalities and chemo. But after 3.5 years, God was so gracious because at some point the doctor said, we don't know if you're going home. And I said, I am not comprehending that. But I promised if I came home, I would do everything in my power to help other women, to help men. One of the things my oncologist said, Dr. Hopkins said, you are well known, start a cancer support group. I did. COVID came, we started. We're back now. I'm a member of We From Upstreet, so our cancer support group is within the organization. Once a month, every Saturday. This Saturday is October 25th. We have a cancer support group. We meet at the sunroom at the hospital. First, there was about 10 of us. Now, every Saturday, we take up the whole restaurant with the outside of the cafeteria they have there. Women are coming out. Women are getting involved. And I wanted to, how am I doing?
You're doing great.
Good, okay. But I love to educate, because when I was at the Cancer Treatment Center, I tried to be very ladylike, but there came a time when I wanted to decide, be in charge of what was going to happen with my body, and I got up in meetings and I told the doctors, these are my tips and I'm the captain of this ship. So, and I still feel that way. I said, so I am going to ask a lot of questions and I want to decide what's going to be done. And one of the things I did, and I know God was with me, I know God is still with me. One of the things I did, one of my daughters here started going to the chiropractor and got into essential oils. So she got into essential oils and started sending me frankincense oil. Frankincense oil heals cancer. It takes away tumors, and I research. I also use castor oil. Everybody in here should know about castor oil. We're all West Indians. It is the best healing agent. It goes 8 layers down in your cellular makeup. So I started using that. I was very careful which physicians I told. Those I told that my naturopath, chiropractor, acupuncturist keep doing it. So the day they took me into surgery to remove both breasts, they said it was going to be 15, 20 hours. But they woke me up 4 hours later and said, something happened. And I'm like, what? They said we went in to your right breast. We couldn't find the tumor. It's not there. we did biopsies. You don't have cancer in either breast. So we leaving your tits alone, because I kept saying, listen. So, and there was no cancer in my lymph nodes. And later on, when they were going to remove the tumor from my stomach, they said the tumor had shrunk so much that they didn't touch my stomach, they went in laparoscopically. So, thank you. So, I'm telling you, between the Lord and between me and my drive and my big mouth, I was able to, and educating myself. A lot of our children are now getting cancer. One of the cancers I learned when I was at the Cancer Treatment Center is environmental cancer. Do y'all know what environmental cancer is?
No, ma'am.
Well, let me tell you. Environmental cancer is caused by anything in your environment that is not conducive to your health, wellness, and well-being. Say the Virgin Islands is loaded with environmental cancer. I have been studying it. The dung heap with all them chemicals when it rains that come across to the housing community. There are so many women and men in there have died of cancer. It is affecting so many counselors and teachers have died of breast cancer and other cancers at Bertha Shelter School because of that dump. There were at least 3 teachers that I was aware of when my children were at Antilles School who died of breast cancer in 1 year, one right after the other. A lot of men who live in this area have prostate cancer. There's also a correlation between prostate cancer and bladder cancer, especially if you smoke. We have down by the Department of Labor and also to the back of Windward Passage, that sewage running there now 10 years.
Oh my God.
10 years. Last week, when Washington School, I know I got a new name now, but I old school. When the kids were coming out, going home, they were walking through the sewer to get home. And I got very irate. Because we're all suffering in many ways. And so for you women, if you haven't had your mammograms, you men, if you hadn't gone and get your body checked out, it is something I want you, especially this month, to consider. Not only consider, but to do it. Because cancer is silent in the beginning. You don't realize you have it, but one day you say, I haven't been feeling good. So I want to end by sharing with you some truth. This is what I know for sure. Cancer is killing a large percentage of our community. Cancer is caused by high levels of stress. And I believe that is one of the reasons I got it, running my agency, taking care of my kids, going through a massive divorce. But stress. The least percentage of cancer has to do, getting cancer has to do with family. We would assume that if my mother had cancer, well, she did, she had cervical cancer, but I'm going to get it. But at the time that I got my breast cancer, I was the only one in my family that I knew had it. Since then, I have a niece that had breast cancer in both breasts. And I have some other cousins that now know they have it. So cancer is caused by high levels of stress. It's also caused by using a lot of sugar. Sugar is like putting gasoline on a fire with cancer. It also involves obesity, lack of exercise, and that's something that really hurt my heart because I love Caribbean, West Indian, Virgin Islands food. But there are things I have to give up and change, tweak my diet, eat healthy things, and I got into learning about essential oils, about proper foods, all the bush we have here. We got so much healing bush here. People don't tell us about it, but we need to go back and learn. And cancer not many people I know, thank God, but it does happen, have reoccurrences. For example, earlier this year,